Oh, we played a league with Brightglass Gearhulk once before, right? But how about four of them? Hello, folks. Phil Gallagher, aka ThrabenU, here for another Legacy video. And today, something snazzy just gave me a very generic request: play something with Brightglass Gearhulk. And I'm going to update a list that I played previously. Let's make these guys over here a little bit bigger. So previously, I played a deck that looked kind of like this one that had a small green sun package and two Brightglass Gearhulk as the top end. And it did pretty well. I don't remember exactly how it did. I think it was a 4-1 or a 3-2. Like, it was a good league. And so I'm going to try the same thing again today. But instead of running Green Sun for Gearhulk and slotting like a Dryad Arbor and a couple of Silver Bullets into the mana base, what if we play Lotus Petal as synergy with Brightglass Gearhulk to power it out faster, and it can also be mana that we can search up with it. In my previous league, I saw that this card was kind of cracked. So when it enters, you can search for up to 2 artifact, creatures, and or enchantment cards with mana value 1 or less and put them into your hand. So conceptually, what I wanted to do is be able to get Guide of Souls plus Ocelot Pride. And then I realized that being able to fish out Static Prison, or 2 Static Prisons as multiple removal spells, was pretty cracked too. And there's a surprising amount of flexibility here. Your opponent has a 5/5? Cool, fish out 2 Noble Hierarchs, attack for 6, first strike trample. Oh, you just wish you could deploy something else after your Gearhulk? Good news! Get double Lotus Petal, play your 2-drop afterwards. And if you can, for example, bestow onto Brightglass Gearhulk and start copying that every time you get a land, well, it feels pretty darn good. We can't get very greedy with the mana base here because we need green, green, white, white. That's very, very specific. So while an energy deck might want to play some wastelands because you can be really low to the ground, I just don't think we get away with any colorless pips in a deck like this one. The big question mark for me is Peema Trailblazer good? Last league, I think I just literally did not draw the card. I think it never hit play or never got to attack or something like that. I still don't know if this is good. Accelerating this out on turn 2 off a Noble Hierarch where this can attack for 4, get 4 energy, and then potentially become a way to draw a bunch of cards later, conceptually is very good. We just did not see it actually happening. One other final thought here. Ajani is fine in a deck that does not have red. I considered trying to squeeze in Amped Raptor or Goblin Bombardment into this deck, maybe in the place of Peema Trailblazer, lower the curve a little bit. But adding red into this probably complicates the mana base enough that casting a green, green, white, white card consistently on turn 3 or turn 4 potentially becomes problematic. And as it stands now, it's very, very tough for any 4 of our lands to not cast this. We have to have like Boseiju, Forest, 1 white producing land of some kind, or Caracas, Plains. So possible, but unlikely. As far as the sideboard goes, remember any silver bullet artifacts or enchantments, or even creatures that we play, can just be tutored up via the Gearhulk. So there's room to do some cute things here. You know, I could have gotten a Mother of Runes or a Sylvan Safekeeper or something like that to include in this package as well. Otherwise, we are mostly focused on being able to hit the graveyard while also taking out key permanents with things like Force of Vigor. We've got Choke for some free wins versus slower blue decks like Up the Beanstalk or maybe a Grixis control deck that people might be experimenting with in this post-ban world. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into it. Folks, if you need some cards, you need your Brightglass Gearhulks because they are sweet. Please check out my sponsor, TOAMagic.com. At any given time, they have 95% of standard legal stuff in stock, and they also have a bunch of sweet old cards. You need dual lands, you need your stuff for old school or vintage, they should have it. Promo code ThrabenU saves you a bit, and you always get free shipping. Let's battle. Alright, I am keeping my opening hand here. We are playing against a blue deck of some kind. So the big question here is, am I playing Noble Hierarch out on turn 1? And if so, off of what land? Because if Noble Hierarch gets removed, I would like to have double white sources for next turn. I think I'm okay with getting a Savannah. And I will have a lot of different ways that I can play turn 2. It is probably going to be Guide of Souls, Ocelot Pride, and Noble Hierarch, but I can adjust that. Alright, there's a Prismatic Ending. This is why I wanted to have Savannah. Now I can just get these going when my opponent does not have instant speed Swords to Plowshares available. That one resolved. How about the cat, though? Didn't think so. Note that Guide of Souls is perfectly reasonable on its own. Wasteland. The Fairy. Annoying. At this point, it doesn't really matter if I have basics. That Wasteland gets one of these at some point. So let's Guide of Souls and honestly probably just Bestow. Makes a land drop in the future. Sweet. Fairy goes up. There's a third color in here. This will be Snapcaster Prismatic Ending. My opponent takes out Guide of Souls, leaving this. I am unsure if that is the correct call. It's going to work out very well for me here, assuming no counterspell. So I swords this. I play Noble Hierarch. And now I get 2 onto Fairy. Feels good. I will have 3 to play the Peema Trailblazer. Opponent's got a 4th land. If they are doing fair stuff like stock up, it's gonna look pretty good here. It is an Oculus. Sure, seems good. My opponent gets some immediate value out of that. Ocelot Pride. Not bad. My opponent has 1 card, which probably means that my stuff is resolving here. Take out this Oculus in the short term. Let's play an Ocelot Pride. I think I am okay trading for whatever this manifest creature is with Springheart Nantuko here. I want to be able to get this Ocelot Pride through later, and I perhaps should not have even played this until after combat. Alright, we are trading. Ooh, I lose my Trailblazer. But my opponent has no cards. So hopefully I find a way to get some energy here. I will pay... Are we bestowing? Bestowing onto Ocelot Pride? Seems fine. I will get in for 3 here, and then make a cat. Wasteland has relevant text. Gearhulk. Sure. I would be able to Gearhulk this turn if I did not get Wastelanded twice. Always yield to this. So, my opponent is probably getting their Oculus back, which is not great for me. They can fish for something to do. Okay. I have to sacrifice that, unfortunately. I have 3 mana here. I can make another Ocelot Pride. And if this resolves in a little while, I can answer the Oculus. Ooh, opponent has Bowmasters. Sure. That is Savine's Reclamation to bring back a Teferi. Balancing my Ocelot Pride. So now, if I make landfall stuff, I'm going to get regular old 1/1 tokens. Why is it highlighting this as if it can block? Weird. 18. My opponent manifests Dread. Is another Springheart Nantuko. Sure. So let's do this. I am fine bestowing onto it. I will go to Punchies. I can attack Teferi with a 2/2 due to Exalted here. My opponent can throw away an Orc or a Manifest token, whatever they want to do. Manifest token. Teferi goes up to 2. Opponent's getting great value here. Get another 2/2. And one of these eventually will be a creature that my opponent gets great value off of. Alright, there's my land. It is pretty cool. I'm going to do this, not copy Ocelot Pride here. Go to combat, send this in at Teferi. Make it a 3/3 with Exalted. Okay, this is fine. We'll kill the Manifest and the Bowmaster here. And this is first strike. So my creature isn't actually dying. I drop the Gearhulk. It has resolved. I can get Lotus Petal Static Prison to immediately remove the Oculus and assume that 2 turns with a board that looks like this kills my opponent, which is what I'm going to do. Static Prison, take out Oculus. And then I did gain life this turn, so I will do the Ocelot Pride thing. And I made some insect tokens as well, so those do get doubled too, due to the whole city's blessing thing. I guess due to Savine's reclamation, I actually should have killed the orc army token, not the bowmaster. Wasn't thinking about that, but it's just an objective mistake. An opponent's Jace reawakened gets to plus here. Alright, so I will pay for this. So if I attack my opponent, they blocks, they take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, not dead. So that means I probably kill some planeswalkers here. There is too much math to do here. Let's always kill Jace reawakened. Send Ocelot Pride at Teferi. That's not appealing to block. If this is blocked, I want 4 other things. Guarantee killing this. This is blocked. And this is blocked. The Teferi living at 1 loyalty isn't all that big of a deal. If I do 2 of those at Jace and my opponent blocks these here, Jace goes down to 2. Yeah, we're going to oversend at the planeswalkers here, because I think I just win if they die. The opponent's just going to take out 1 cat token, let me kill these. I'll play a Noble Hierarch in case I draw exactly a Gearhulk, and then make another friend at end step. I get to pay for Static Prison 1 more time, and then my opponent can have their creature back, but just sending all of these creatures sideways twice should be more than enough. I'm not expecting a game 1 sweeper with how many creatures my opponent is playing. Opponent has a swords, that's fine. Like a Murktide. No, it's 3 mana. It is another Oculus. Okay, sort of annoying. My opponent gets to manifest Dread. Token attacks get worse. Alright, so Gearhulk gets blocked. This gets blocked. I'm not actually pushing all that much damage. What if I just attack with the Gearhulk? Send in a 6/6 first strike Trampler, and then finish the following turn. It's probably fine. I think I take too many losses if I go in with everything this turn. Alright, so my opponent's just going to take that. I will pass the turn. Okay, opponent's trying to get some chip damage in. So they manifest Dread. I'm going to lose Static Prison here. Redraw Static Prison. Okay. So assuming I cast this, I take out Oculus. Opponent blocks this with 2 of these, then blocks 2 cats. I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 damage in. That seems fine. Opponent could have a force here. Take out Oculus. Send everybody except the Noble Hierarchs. Snapcaster Mage, sure. If I lose the Gearhulk, I'll take some losses on this attack. Putting my opponent to 1? Putting them to 1. Okay. Cameo's fine. I get whacked for 5. My opponent has enough blockers for my bullshit right now. Windswept Heath is a little late. I'll hold that in case I draw a bestow creature. If I attack with all of these tokens, that is not profitable. Everything gets blocked, so we will just send 1 in as a 3/3. And opponent will trade a body here. The issue is that the Oculus makes a body every turn, and my Static Prison is meant to get something out of the way to kill my opponent. It is not meant to be a long-term solution. My opponent just has too many bodies. My opponent manifests Dread again. Ocelot Pride. I mean, I'll play it, but this is starting to go the wrong direction for me. I suspect that I have lost this one. I am willing to make the same exchange as last turn. Opponent is as well. Then has a Bowmasters. Sure. Baleful Strix. This flips Tamiyo. So this perhaps should not have been done pre-combat. The Tamiyo Plus is rough here. Means my tokens aren't particularly strong. My opponent's about to get this Oculus back. This is just too late. I'm dead in the air. Well, rats. I had ways to win this one. Like, if I don't kill the Bowmaster and I kill the token instead on that 1 double block turn, my opponent doesn't get the extra bodies back. So my opponent made a really bad block against the first striker. They just literally forgot about first strike, and I missed something as well. Alright, I have a giant pile of cards that I can consider here. I think I'm going to board Static Prison down. I think I'm going to keep 1, But it is very clear that my opponent is good at prolonging the game, and Static Prison isn't getting me over. Like, Static Prison was an actively bad card to draw versus just some body in that game. From here, it's just kind of how much of this stuff can I actually play? I want all of my value-oriented cards. I could potentially go down on some mana if I think the game is going to be long, but my opponent is a Wasteland 3-color deck, and we saw 2, there could be more. A lot of times I try to get more threat dense, which is not what these cards are doing. Ghost Vacuum might be good enough, though. I don't know, do I need Ghost Vacuum and Endurance? Maybe I trim this. Then I don't know, then it's really tough from there. I'm not sure. I would need more time to think about this. Yeah, this is great. This has multiple different turn 3 top outs here. And Ocelot Pride on 1 is very good if my opponent does not have the initial removal spell or Force of Will. They have the Force of Will. That's fine. Force of Will hitting that and not choke is kind of a big deal. So, that's... Seems like my opponent doesn't have another counterspell based on the speed of that resolving. That is great for me. We're going to go ahead and attack on in with both of these. I'm fine walking into something like a Bowmaster here. If my opponent taps out, then that potentially means that Choke has a better chance of resolving. Like, I am okay trading Ajani for Bowmaster here. Ooh, opponent taking no chances. This is fine. This is fine. So given what I learned last game, I kill the Orc army before the Bowmaster. Opponent's at 17. Goodbye land? Goodbye land. This basic swamp will untap. Choke is answerable via like Teferis and Prismatic Endings and stuff. But I am just looking for this to create a window for me to do something powerful. Alright, opponent attacks with Bowmasters, meaning they don't want to block here. Gearhulk is very, very good. Send in. Opponent is at 15. I think I'm going to play Guide of Souls, Peema, Trailblazer here over Gearhulk immediately. Just a good way for me to put more pressure on my opponent if they use the turn to answer choke. Then, interesting, they played an island and then pondered instead of using the underground sea that they already had. Ghost Vacuum is cool. If I play Brightglass Gearhulk, I could do some things. Yeah, I can do some things if I do this pre-combat. Let's cast this. This is going to give me energy. This is 2 energy. Then I do Lotus Petal, Ocelot Pride afterwards. Use white for Ocelot Pride. Go to combat. I'm fine send... yeah. That was great. I enjoyed that. How the fuck am I supposed to sideboard, though? Like, Endurances and Pithing Needle are all, like, very, very, very reasonable. Like, do I just go down on Hierarchs because my opponent has Bowmaster and just assume that I play a longer game? It makes, like, the fast choke, fast Peema, Trailblazer lines way worse, though. A lot of times versus Control, you don't need swords, but Oculus is a big deal. I know Endurance helps check Oculus, but sometimes it's going to slip into play. I want the Pithing Needle on the draw over one of these. I don't know. I don't know. And, like, is Lotus Petal better than Noble Hierarch? That's another thing. This is a mediocre hand that I'm going to keep. I just boarded out a bunch of mana and boarded in a bunch of 3-drops. I think I am okay with how this looks. There is a Tamiyo. That is perfectly reasonable. I'm going to fetch a basic here. Play this around days. I don't expect days, but let's play it around days anyway. Tamiyo makes a clue. There's another basic. We'll do some cleaning. Guide of Souls is cool. I would like to attempt to ambush Tamiyo in combat, though. That's fine. Thoughtseizes takes my choke. Do I give them a chance to take Endurance and leave me with choke? That like, just doesn't happen, right? I don't think that happens. Let's try to resolve this. I don't want those cards back in my deck, so graveyards can stay. Choke was the thing that made this hand keepable. Oh man, you have Brainstorm too? Boo. So Tamiyo becomes a Planeswalker. Swords as well? Sure. I'll take swords out first. Land is not what I am looking for here, obviously. I can Surveil land to help here. I'll hold Ghost Vacuum so that my opponent can't Tamiyo minus and get something back. We're not in range of Oculus doing broken stuff yet. And we'll vacuum away Brainstorm. Sure. Opponent gets some marginal value there. I get to use a Surveil land to try to fix this. Endurance is a mediocre card here, but it's not a land. So I think I unfortunately keep it. Tamiyo's just too close to ultimating as is. Another Brainstorm. I think I need a live draw next turn. Tamiyo can just go to 8 here. And Endurance doesn't have trample or anything. Ajani would be great to get 2 bodies at the same time. Well, in case they randomly name Endurance, I have to respond. I will clear their graveyard, get my energy. Static Prison is a fair name there. Tamiyo pluses to 8. Ajani would be great. That's fine. I will bestow this onto Guide of Souls. We'll make a land drop. We'll make another Guide of Souls, which triggers the first Guide of Souls. Then I will fetch, pick up a land, which is going to make an insect token. That is going to give me more energy. Now I have enough to attack and give something flying. Opponent Brainstorms. Probably need to attack with 2 separate bodies here. The best play against a single removal spell. Although if my opponent has a single removal spell, I think you just fire it off on this. Or no, there's 2 Guide of Souls. I don't know, if a single removal spell already could happen, like there were moments for that. Let's send this at Tamiyo and this at Tamiyo. And then either one of these connecting makes Tamiyo not ultimate. I'm going to pay. I think I want these counters here. All right, Tamiyo is just taking 5. An opponent is cracking a clue, draws through one of the cards from Brainstorm. Tamiyo pluses. Opponent is getting rid of my Ghost Vacuum. I'll take out your Brainstorm on the way out. Then it's Snapcaster, yep. And you can Prismatic Ending this Guide of Souls. Another Guide of Souls. Not bad. My Endurance attacks as a 2/4. Okay, that's fine. We'll see whether my opponent is chumping here, whether they're trying to trade with it, whether they're trading 2 Snapcasters, whether they are trading. Okay, they're just going to let Tamiyo take the hit. And I will get Guide of Souls going. Then any creature lets me do that whole flying thing again. Narset, sure. Tamiyo plus, and we're chilling. That's pretty good. Bowmaster's fine. That's fine. I got some triggers here. I'm going to be able to get multiple flying creatures. All right, so I can now ignore some of these blockers. So if I put counters on Endurance, Endurance is attacking for 4. Okay. Endurance is going to attack and kill Narset. An Insect is going to attack and poke Tamiyo. So here's where we're at after those abilities resolve. All right. 1 Planeswalker down. I'll get the other one next turn. 5 mana. Hardcast Lorien revealed. Seems good. Tamiyo pluses. All right, Arid Mesa is not what I'm hoping for here. So that hits Tamiyo for 4. If I attack this, Tamiyo dies, which is fine. And then I will attack with this Cat Warrior for 1 damage. All right, Tamiyo is dead. Opponent takes the 1. Again, because we have this in the deck, we don't play out the extra lands here. Opponent ponders. They've got plenty of cards in hand. I am not expecting this game to quickly be over in one direction or another. One of us might end up timing out. They fetch land. There's a Jace Reawakened. Opponent does this plus thing on an Oculus. Sure. That's real good. Let's see if this resolves. Opponent has 2 cards. It could be Force of Will blue card. It is, unfortunately, Force of Will blue card. And there's more. Oh no, there's not more. That's just a Surveil land. I will kill the Planeswalker. I will go at your face. I will go at your face. Opponent's at 8. Fairy Time Raveler. That's real good. Opponent can bounce that Endurance out of play. There's the Oculus. My opponent gets to manifest Dread. Lotus Petal is not what I am looking for here. This is a 5/5 flyer, unfortunately. Need to play this out at sorcery speed. This gives me 2 energy. Nuke your graveyard. Go to combat. I can send this at your face. My opponent doesn't want to give me the Planeswalker. Planeswalker means more energy for Guide of Souls and allows me to make an endurance that is larger than the Oculus. They will just keep taking that. 3 mana for manifested creature, a Plague Engineer, but it doesn't get its ability. It does become a Death Toucher, though. Alright, my opponent manifests Dread more. Force of Plowshares is not bad here. It's awkward. It gives my opponent more time. Let's kill the Planeswalker. Let's continue. No, let's just kill the Planeswalker. At some point, my opponent could consider turning their army of creatures sideways, and I think I want to have the cat back for if that happens. Stop fucking playing shit at instant speed. Sick of this shit. Alright, what did Teferi just bounce? An insect token. Okay. Swords, sure. Yeah, so they could try to pivot into being the aggressor now with all of these bodies. I am at 32, though. Maybe I need to start actively playing towards timeout more strongly than I am. So endurance, clear your graveyard. I don't know, this is just an attack for 5 at face in the air. Okay. Fucking stop. And cast a Brazen Borrower, that's fine. And I'll fetch to play this endurance again, just for more energy. Fairy pluses. Alright. Send at face. Always yield to these at this point. Opponent's just gonna chump, that's fine. Alright, finally. A card did not hit play at my end step. I like that. Do this. Make some triggers. More triggers. At this point, fuck the Planeswalkers. Attack you. Attack you. I'll make that fly. Attack you. Trigger on endurance. Plague Engineer just blocks. Johnny triggers. Second main phase. 0 this. Gives me enough to make yet another flyer next turn. Bowmaster is fine. Pinging my Planeswalker. Fairy bounces an endurance. I can cast this endurance, which I'm just going to do now for the sake of time. Brainstorm. Wasteland's fine. Veins Rack. Sure. I'm not blocking here. My opponent is just trying to time me out before I get to attack with this creature. I'll send it. Triggers there. Ugh. GG's. Let's never, ever, ever do that again. Today's video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, just the best place to keep your online deck lists, and the reason I say that is it just has so much functionality. So for example, let's take a look at some random legacy deck here. You can click on your various 2-drop slots and you can see what % chance you have of casting various things on curve, and you can get a breakdown of your mana symbols and all of that stuff, and there's a lot more here than just this. Consider checking it out. Ugh, all right. I've rehydrated, I had a little snack. Let's do this again. Force of Will pitching Kaito. Well, fuck me, it's going to be another slog of a round. Maybe Peema Trailblazer will just kind of run away with this one. Yeah, okay. Hierarch, do your thing. I'm okay if Hierarch dies, I'm okay if Hierarch accelerates out an energy card. No? Feels like no. How do you feel about Elephant Warriors, friend? Brainstorm's fine. Basically, any mana that is spent on not addressing Peema Trailblazer is a win for me. Want to draw cards while there's not a Bowmaster in play? Is that so much to ask? There's a Delta. I could lose my creature. I don't. Oh, okay, okay. So, now we're cooking. So now, I bestow onto Peema Trailblazer, make my land drop, pay 2 mana, make a copy of Peema Trailblazer, land is currently Peema Trailblazer, ×2, we'll keep land. So now I attack with Exalted, it's 6 for this, right? Nice, so I get 5 energy towards this. Let's fucking go. Elephant. The opponent has their 3rd land drop. I I have some things that I would like to do here. Elephant noises intensify. Make them all fucking now. Wait, I might be drawing a gajillion cards. My opponent goes to 6. I get all the energy in the world. My opponent brainstorms. Sure. I don't know, maybe I fetch here. It doesn't look like there's a sorcery speed restriction on exhaust. Yeah, there's not a sorcery speed restriction on that from the look of it. I'll just pass the turn and make another one of these. And then at some point when my opponent doesn't have Bowmaster up, I can draw a bunch of cards. It looks like my opponent is intentionally keeping Bowmaster up. I just like don't even need to activate this to like play into it, even though I could just like get 12 cards. Making token copies of this is fucked up. Alright, my opponent is some Esper control bullshit. We will probably board this stuff, and I'm not going to start on Pithing Needle in all likelihood. So I think previously I decided in respect of Bowmaster, I get rid of Noble Hierarch and I just try to keep land heavier hands. And I think I went down on Static Prison, but kept 1 as a tutor target? Or the Gearhulk. I wonder if this deck doesn't want to be playing Static Prison, or at least not in the numbers that I am currently playing it in. Opening hand is solid. Opponent's on 6. And ponders. Ocelot Pride for my first turn, which may or may not do its thing. Probably not. Yeah, that's fine. That's why we boarded out the Hierarchs. Lotus Petal. I actually love that draw. That lets me play Peema Trailblazer this turn and then do the bestow thing next turn. Just like I did last game. Very nice. And like, ow! Ow! I will take some from Bowmaster, that's fine. Gearhulk is great. I'm going to work towards trying to bestow onto that. Opponent fetches. We're getting to the range where I need to start thinking about Murktide Regent, but I would also kind of like to ambush these in combat. Yeah. Good card is good. Alright, opponent says no. I Endurance, my opponent Force of Wills, which means my Brightglass Gearhulk is okay to resolve. So here we go. Grab Savannah. Do Brightglass Gearhulk. Yes. I can take Static Prison for this. I can do like Static Prison Guide of Souls here and just not turbo anything out immediately. I think I like that. And then next turn I do Guide of Souls, Bestow, Fetch. I am taking a pretty chonky hit here. Okay, cool. No creature to return. I need to dodge swords this turn. And then, oh buddy, we are off to the races. A follow-up Brainstorm. So opponent is going to dig that 1 card deeper, looking for their swords. Alright. Thoughtseize. Now that's real good. However, I have 3 incredible cards in my hand. Yeah. Okay. Guide of Souls. Ajani. Gain my energy. Gain my more other energy. Static Prison away your good card. Send in. I could make this fly. I think that's greedy. I can do that after I have accumulated a little bit more energy. But let's make sure my Guide of Souls sticks around first. Then end of turn, I'll Surveil land. We basically just want to find any creature here. Oseiju, no thank you. Lotus Petal, also not a creature. So I'm glad I did not go in with Guide of Souls. So we'll send this in. We'll send this in. I think just those. Oh, wow. Opponent's going to give me the Planeswalker. Ah, not quite. Opponent's at 12 and that's all said and done. Another Guide of Souls. I guess I don't need to show my opponent that immediately. I'm not paying to fly here. I don't think I'll attack with this. I'm doing fine without it. Opponent is at 8. Drop a new Guide of Souls. Keep the energy and life coming. Opponent is attacking with a Bowmaster. This probably means that they have something like a Kaito that they are trying to cheat in while doing something else. Alternatively, it could be like a Fatal Push. Another Bowmaster is fine. Like, this does not solve the Gearhulk problem. Sure. I will pay. Send in. Opponent is at 4. The next one of these, in theory, kills them. Hey, there's the Kaito that I played around. Uncounters are a thing. Note that this is hexproof, so I can't just get it when it's a creature here. I can still do everything that I want to do if I don't cast swords until my turn. I will pay. Alright, do I want to bestow? I bestow onto Guide of Souls. I attack in with a 2/3. My opponent blocks. I don't know, bestowing onto Brightglass Gearhulk is still just very, very, very strong. It turns any land I draw into something that is just insane. Forcing the creatures off my opponent's board, also not bad. I think I'm going to care about the right now. So I'll do this. I'll Swords to Plowshares a creature. Go to combat. Send in at Kaito. Force the chump block with the Orc. And then we'll see what my opponent can do with their Kaito. Alright, they're going in with it. I'm at 15. Tamiyo. Seems good. Oh, that's good. So, do this. Pay 2. Make a copy of Guide of Souls, giving me energy. Fetch. I'll grab a basic here. Pay 2 again, giving me more energy. I don't really want to give my opponent this back, which means that my Guide of Souls attack this turn is not actually good. Alright. This is in theory live again next turn, although my opponent could stun it again. This is a very different game if the Static Prison was just a Swords to Plowshares, but I think I fetched that off the Gearhulk, so Kaito not going in for combat. Bowmasters? Sure. Why are we doing this at sorcery speed? For Surveil? Yeah, okay. So opponent ponders rather than cracking the clue token. Right now, basically every draw in my deck, other than Lotus Petal, is just good. Creatures get me a bunch of energy, lands get me a bunch of energy. My stuff gets slightly smaller. What the fuck? That's rough. I probably play this because of Thoughtseize, but it's really awkward to not get immediate value out of this. I don't really want to take the hit. I think I am going to. I just get so much value from land drops currently. There's multiple pest controls. Ooh, Brazen Borrower. That's particularly rough. I can pick up another card here. Has a fetch. Wow. Yep. Remember what I said? Every draw in my deck was good except Lotus Petal. I meant it. And I've used one already. Gross. That's a frustrating loss. To be like, pest control was brutal. Petty theft is rough. Now it's stun and kill. I'm dead on board. Yeah, definite static prison tension here. Like, static prison was important to keep that creature out of play, but it kept me from killing my opponent. Do I want to have Pithing Needle for Kaito as a silver bullet? I guess, like, is Ghost Vacuum actually enough for Goyfs? My opponent has Marktide too. I have Endurances as well. Yep. Let's start on basics. Loop down a Guide of Souls. I would like to draw something to do on turn 2. That would be great. Tamiyo, yep. Hey, something to do on turn 2. I will Guide of Souls. Yield all those in advance. I'm going to open myself up to Wasteland to just get a little Surveil value here. I do not want that bonus land. I still have 3 lands even if I get Wastelanded. I can't get pest controlled immediately since my opponent led on Island. Wasteland is, again, annoying. An opponent is going to take the clue, which means I can get in for a little damage. Never mind. So now my Guide of Souls can't reasonably attack. Okay, I can get some chip damage. Is it better to cast this? It might be better to just cast this, trigger, whack Tamiyo for 2. Yeah, let's do that. Start building the body. Hey. As much as I really want to, like, extract maximum value from my cool bestow abilities, sometimes you just gotta kill the opponent. Alright, so that was no shuffle. There's a decent chance a Swords to Plowshares is coming. Ghost Vacuum is fine. So, let's make some friends. Do I have white cards in this deck other than the Gearhulk? No. Alright, so opponent is fetching in response to this trigger. An island. swordsing here, so I will respond. I'm gonna get a basic. I will make another friend on top of that. Alright, so I have 3 energy, which means that I can attack. If something eats a swords, I would prefer it be this one. So, attack ThrabenU, shrink. Okay. ThrabenU takes 2 again. And do you have Force of Will? You do not have Force of Will. Well, I don't feel bad. You pest controlled me. You brought this upon yourself. Alright, ThrabenU pluses. I'm also going to get to just clear out my graveyard while getting more energy. Feels good. So I do not need the energy in main 1 here. I'll play this land in main 1, I guess. Go up to 28. Send in at ThrabenU. ThrabenU goes down a bit. We're just going to send away that graveyard right now. Then I will play a Ghost Vacuum to help with things like the fetch land that might get in there. ThrabenU pluses. I guess I will start eating things out of my graveyard. Swords is fine. Send it to ThrabenU. Send it ThrabenU. ThrabenU is dead. Great. Even if pest control happens and I lose these 4 things, I still have 6 power in play. That is still a 3-turn clock. I think we're good. I think Choke did what Choke does. That is an underground sea. Notable island. You may ponder. I have 10 onboard damage. My opponent has shuffled. They have picked up another land. We'll vacuum. Lotus Petal, not doing anything here. I don't think that's a problem though. Opponent goes to 7, which is 6 after the fetch, which is lethal in the face of a pest control. And we put the win on the board again. I don't know how we're going to do versus fast combo decks or anything, but we are getting over the edge in these slow, grindy matchups. But this is exhausting. Round 3. No land. Easy mulligan. Ooh, no. This would still even be questionable if this was basic plains, though. I might keep it, but some portion of the time we would just die. Come on, deck. This is 5 on the play. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yikes. I draw mana less than half the time. About what, 23 lands plus 3 Lotus Petals in deck? Just under half. I don't think I'm going to keep the no-lander. The 4 is not good. I am keeping it, but it's not good. I am going to keep stuff towards a turn 3 Brightglass Gearhulk. I think that is my best chance at putting a win on the board with a 4-card hand. Obviously unhappy about this. Ancient Tomb, sure. That makes getting a Surveil land here significantly more awkward, so I'm not going to do it. This might just be Blood Moon coming. We'll drop in Ocelot Pride. Oh? Sure, so Sneak and Show. There's the island. It is Stock Up instead. I now know it's okay to use my Arid Mesa to get a Surveil land, though. That's the good news. Hey, and maybe my opponent's discarding. That's value for me. That's good, right? Right? Chat? Yes. Well, I would prefer it to be a land. I think guaranteeing that I can cast this next turn and pick up Static Prison is perfectly reasonable. Some portion of the time this is just going to eat Force of Will, or Daze or whatever, and it looks bad. But we are absolutely trying to get lucky here. Gearhulk. So I want a Static Prison to put in off Show and Tell, and then I want something else to do. I can get Guide of Souls for Ocelot Pride. I'll do that. Make my cat. Guide of Souls also means that if I do successfully Static Prison something, I can potentially keep it gone. Wow, we have a very real chance at winning this Mulda 4. We swung and hit with Brightglass Gearhulk, which was lucky, honestly, after a stock up. It also may be that my opponent didn't know they had to counter it, because it, like, do you know off the top of your head that Brightglass Gearhulk indicates Static Prison? I believe that for the average Legacy player, the answer is no, I don't know that. My opponent likes their cards. Note that if they are a Cunning Wish build, it is very possible to win on top of Static Prison here. Solve the equation. Or Show and Tell. Yep. Alright, we knew that was coming. Alright. Lotus Petal I don't want. Don't really have a reason not to cast it. Send it for 6. Opponent's at 7. I make a cat. I get an energy. This is the turn, right? This is theoretical lethal. Here we go. There's the show and tell. I'm going to put in Static Prison. Sometimes my opponent could have 2 show and tells and then they put nothing in with this one. Yeah. I don't think I can take that risk, though. Yep. Called it. There's Cunning Wish, which is going to result in me being dead. There's Shared Summons. Opponent gets Atraxa and Emrakul, and that is unfortunately enough to kill me here. Dead. So I can do the crazy person thing and not put it in off of show and tell, but then if they just put in their giant thing, I lose to it. So okay. Choke is fine here. Deafening Silence is playable, I guess. Force of Vigor is maybe something that I can consider. It's not particularly great. I don't think my opponent's going to have the One Ring with how this build was looking. I probably get rid of my copies of Swords to Plowshares and just leave Static Prison as something to put in off of show and tell. Most of my cards here are reasonable. If I have Deafening Silence, Force of Vigor gets better. Maybe cut like a couple of Johnnies here to play all of my hateful cards. Like, I am not in love with Brightglass Gearhulk as a 4-mana card in this matchup, but the Ajani doesn't do a ton all by itself. Oh, this is fine. That was a very competitive game for a Moldifor. Like, that is much, much better than I would expect on average. Hello, Life Gain friend. Welcome. Island and Preordain. I would really like to draw just literally any castable card for this turn. Even a fetch land is fine. Wish not granted. I'm technically holding up a Boseiju activation, but that's not something that I expect to be relevant. Opponent might have it here. They tanked for a little while before casting this Ponder. They might have it and are trying to find something else to go with it to make it better. There's some interesting show and tell. I put in Static Prison, you put in Omniscience, you cast a spell in response, I Boseiju in response to that lines that could happen. I think I want Boseiju as a land rather than trying to use it on Ancient Tomb here. Well, now I don't have to. Choke over Trailblazer. Opponent's at 18. A non-basic land should be fine here. Yeah. Opponent does not like choke. Pitching a Ponder. You got it. Cycling a Lorien Revealed. Playing the land. Are we going off? Are we stocking up? Are we tutoring? We're going for it. I will Static Prison. I will attempt to stop the kill. We'll see if my opponent can go off at instant speed in response. Hey, we did it. Deafening Silence. Sick. So I'm fine with land drop. Can't play more than one non-creature. So I can go in with Peema Trailblazer after this. Elephant. Gain my energy, which we're not spending on anything other than Static Prison right now. Send in for 1. Next turn, I cast my Gearhulk, and then I just have another Static Prison. 4 mana, the One Ring. Okay, I was wrong. They do have it. My opponent gets to buy a little time. If I resolve this spell, though, I can just answer that right now if I want. Oh, yeah. So 1, 2, 3, and 4 for the Gearhulk. Get some energy. Yes. Let's just answer the ring. Get Lotus Petal and Static Prison. And Peema Trailblazer. Oh no! Forgot about my own card. It's fine. I still wanted a Static Prison in my hand. I just wouldn't have gotten Lotus Petal. So, slightly suboptimal line. It should have been Static Prison plus another Guide of Souls, probably. I have 8 damage showing. Really 9, 10 damage, which is enough to be lethal. I think I'm okay. Murktide Regent. Okay. There's a pivot. Ajani is cool. I have 4, 7, 8. Let's take Murktide out of the way. Ooh. Ajani gives 2 energy immediately. Allows for me to attack in with a 6/6. Not what I want. So we'll do this again. This Lotus Petal ended up being relevant. So I've cast my non-creature spell for this turn already. Let's just get like double Static Prison here. I can't cast both of them next turn. That shouldn't matter. So I could attack, hit my opponent for 4, not changing things immediately with the One Ring. So we'll wait. I have theoretical lethal next turn. Opponent's at 8. See what they got. Mana spent on cantrips. Is mana not spent impacting my board? So that's good for me. That's my opponent's 1 for this turn. They're going to need a Force of Will to stop my next Static Prison, and they don't have it. Yeah, it turns out that Gearhulk's being able to tutor up a pile of Static Prisons pretty good. Pithing Needle, get in here. I don't think I want Swords to Plowshares for the Murktide Regent pivot. While that is fine and good, I think a lot of times I can go wide of that or tutor up an answer to it. Go down 1 more of these. I guess I could have thought slightly harder about Collector Oof there. Yeah, this is fine. My opponent also kept their 7, though. Land and pass. I'd love to see it. Do I want Ocelot Pride and Guide of Souls immediately if my opponent casts Show and Tell I put in Deafening Silence? That's probably fine. I think I just want to be maximally aggressive here. Fetch. I get Plains just in case things get weird. Guide of Souls. Ocelot Pride. It works. We're going to start doing the thing. And we'll see if this ends up being powerful enough and fast enough. I think this deck is very scary, and will be scarier after the release of the next set. Deafening Silence. Fuck, it's Atraxa. That's just a big creature. Opponent will have Force of Will backing up an Atraxa. That is not great for me. Yeah, so they have Force of Will and guaranteed blue card. What if we just drew Caracas? Alright, they're going to discard the Emrakul. Gearhulk, you're literally 1 card too late, bud. I am into doing this turn so that I gain the life. It's very awkward that I chose Basic Plains because now I can't do this and Surveil Land in the same turn cycle. I'll get my bonus friend. Yeah, I wonder if I'll lose this game for not being able to Surveil immediately. In good news, the Atraxa is not going to 3-turn clock me since I am gaining bonus life. One's getting rid of their city, passing, and discarding. I will cast another Ocelot Pride. Now I have the city's blessing. I was hoping my opponent might counter that so I could potentially resolve this to do the thing. That didn't happen. But I sure will make cats and gain life. Lots of triggers. Casual 11 energy. Let's see what you got, opponent. I'll take 7. It's a lot, I know. But I'll do my best to survive. Oh, shit, are you gonna show and tell? Oh. Because if they show and tell, I Brightglass Gearhulk, I get 2 answers to permanence, and maybe I do something cool afterwards. Surveil Land, here we go. Yes! That has to be Force of Willed. Because I can just activate the exhaust ability and draw infinity cards. 1, 2, 3. Yep. Pitching a Brainstorm. So now hopefully I just get to resolve this next turn and remove the Atraxa and go wild. Not gaining life this turn. I don't think I want to throw away an Ocelot Pride. Make 2 cats. Dismiss these. I'll take 7. Still not dead to this next turn. And it is a solve the equation, which should just search for a Force of Will. Oh, they went for Cunning Wish. Well, please no Force of Will. So I can Gearhulk. Damn it. Do I need to attack this turn? So I can attack. I can put counters on an Ocelot Pride. I gain 4 life from combat. That puts me at 12. I gain 2 life at end step. That puts me at 14. What if I attack with everything? I attack. I put counters on a cat. My opponent blocks a Guide of Souls instead. Probably need the Guide of Souls. But the Ocelot Pride potentially allows me to live for another turn if I attack with it this turn. I think it's attack with everything except Guide of Souls, because that result is the same. So send it. Yeah. My opponent makes the obvious block. And we technically net 2 damage there. Now I'm at 14. Any creature drawn means I live for another turn from Atraxas. I'm now Hellbent though, so if my opponent has show and tell stuff, they know that it is safe to do so this turn. Cunning Wish for Echoing Truth. That is quite funny. my cats, though. I'm at 7. So now my opponent can just Echoing Truth. So I play Guide of Souls. This gives me my 1 life. I will live another turn, but the cat tokens that I'm getting here just also will potentially eat it to Echoing Truth. 12 life when that's all said and done. Surveil land from my opponent. I wonder if I can just get to the point where I can gain 7 or 8 life per turn cycle. I'm at 5 now. Well, show me a counterspell. Alright, it has happened. So, I now attack with cats, or I now attack with everything because I want my opponent to try to Echoing Truth this now rather than later, because if they wait... Alright, if at my end step they Echoing Truth Static Prison, I will have gained enough life where that's fine. They do it now. I can't actually recast it due to Deafening Silence, but I do net damage on the attack, even if they block. Okay. So send in. I have plenty of energy to spend. We can put some counters on some cats. Alright, so opponent goes to 33. Oh shit, I didn't actually gain life this turn. I'm not making cats! Fox, I should have attacked in with everything to incentivize my opponent to do it earlier and see if they make the mistake. I needed to attack with this too. Ah, I played that so well for the most part, but I fucked up at the very end. Yeah, because I originally accounted for this gaining me the life. That's what it was. And then I got scared. Yeah, so if I attack with this as well, either my opponent can pull the trigger, but I still gain the life. Yeah. Ah, I fucked it up. What do my next couple of draws look like? I can't tell. We'll never know. I think I'm going to take a little bit of a risk here and keep this hand. I would really like some bonus mana here, but I can potentially lead on just double Guide of Souls or Guide of Souls into another relevant card. We have some flavor of Delver here. So let's go Start on basics. I think I'm just going to remove this immediately. And Lotus Petal can just hang out as a way to avoid daze. Opponent bobbles themselves. That is force pitching a daze. After a daze has been exiled, I am comfortable playing a Guide of Souls here. It just makes curving out for the rest of this game much, much easier if this Guide of Souls is already in play. So now my opponent can stack their bobble triggers to give themselves the best possible chance of flipping the Delver. And it flips to a Stifle, which is rough. So it's Grixis. Bowmaster. Why? Why? Like, that... I was preparing a monologue for how fucked I was because my opponent had that Stifle, which was going to eat my next land. And now that's not happening anymore. I'm very happy. So I will get a basic land, have both of my colors in stable mana, although not be the best at multi-spelling. If I could get a basic plains here, I would really and truly consider it. So Static Prison can be stifled. I think I ignore that, though, and just do this. It's fine unless the last card is Daze. It wasn't last turn. Alright, nice. Make another energy here. And then I don't want to trade for one of these. Man, I like the part where my opponent did not stifle my fetch land. That was so good for me. I don't know, maybe they thought Guide of Souls was a 1/1 or something. I will take 3, that's fine. 14. Peema Trailblazer is not it as of right now. Let's set up to gain a whole bunch of life and hope this Delver doesn't flip. I think I'm just going to do this. Not show second Guide of Souls yet. Maybe my opponent uses Stifle on an Ajani trigger after killing a Cat Warrior. Oh yeah, I baited it out. Nice. So trigger. Played like a fiddle. Now, I can successfully resolve this Static Prison to take out the flipped Delver. And just buy myself time to get Guide of Souls stuff going. That overpowers what my opponent's tempo deck is doing for the most part. And I have 4 energy. So I can keep Static Prison for quite some time. We're afraid of the bigger threats that this deck could have. Like the Murktide Regions and the Glyphs are now scarier than a lot of other stuff. We are potentially stable. Nice. Do I want second Guide of Souls going first? Let's get second Guide of Souls going first. Am I now okay attacking with one of these and putting counters on it? That might be fine. My opponent stifles, I still could trade with a Delver, which would be fine. Yeah, I'm good with that. So yeah. And then I also just have a 3/4 flyer that I can hold back to block flipped Delvers in the future. This is going really well. Delver flips to Ponder, which my opponent will presumably draw. I don't think that's one you want to fetch away. I don't know what their removal ratios are for which one of these lands you tap. Metagame's too new. They liked their card. Oh, so they might have just accepted another Ponder. And that one was a shuffle. Delver bashes in. I am at 12. Ooh. That is a good card. I don't think I want to expose myself to Daze here, though. I think I'm just going to do this. Get my energy. Punchy, punchy. I'm just going to hold this back as a 3/4 blocker, honestly. I have so much inevitability here. And then Ocelot Pride will gain me even more. So, opponent could find black removal for this Guide of Souls, but then I still have Guide of Souls, Ocelot Pride. I think they just want a massive creature here. Murktide Region is much better than Goyf. I don't know that Goyf gets through anymore. Bolt. Bolt a Guide of Souls. Is the last card Murktide? Last card's a Bowmaster. Last card is not a Bowmaster. Okay. They've tapped out. Grixis Delver. We have a pile of endurances here to help out with this matchup. I'm into these. I don't think I am going to choke here. Ghost Vacuum's okay. I don't think I need Pithing Needle. I think I'm just turning Peema Trailblazer into Endurance. Endurance lives through Lightning Bolt and cleans the graveyard. Those are both things that I want to happen. And then I think I will just go down one very dazeable card for the Ghost Vacuum. Yeah, this is fine. My opponent straight up probably lost that entire game for not holding up Daze, or sorry, not holding up Stifle and choosing to play a Sorcery Speed Bowmaster. So let's fetch basic planes around Stifle. And if one of these two resolves, which one do I want? Ocelot Pride. Guide of Souls has resolved. It doesn't necessarily mean much, though. Lightning Bolts are things. Creature hits the graveyard there. Land plus sorcery could have me taking 3 this turn, but it doesn't happen. Nice. Love this. So now I just play kind of an annoying card, and then I just start playing endurances until morale improves. No immediate removal spell. Cool. We're playing around that naturally. Now that's a Bowmaster that will actually kill a creature. Yep. I'm only taking 1 still, which is honestly lucky. It's turn 3. Let's pass the turn and try to randomly get a creature in combat here. All right. Opponent makes a land drop. I've got priority, so this is my chance to cast this, which I fully do not expect to work. Oh, wow, it worked. Stifle the trigger? Nope. Cool. Well, I'm good with that happening. The first one resolved, meaning the second one will probably resolve as well. Meaning it's probably okay to just attack with this here. Alright, opponent's at 16. I will probably cast an Endurance in their upkeep before they get another draw. There's another Bowmaster. Sure. If they surveil land. No surveil land. Just before they take another draw, I straight up am going to cast an Endurance while I think it is going to resolve. I'm going to clear out my own graveyard in respect of Goyf's. Wasteland's annoying because I specifically have this Gearhulk coming, but I do have the mana to just make this stuff work. Okay. So now we're playing Sword and Shield. I will leave back 1 defensively. I will use 1 offensively. Second. Eeg. Alright, opponent's just throwing away a body. This puts a creature into the graveyard for DRC. Although maybe that's a negative thing. DRC does not want to attack into my 3/4 Endurance. Opponent has cards in hand. I don't know exactly what those cards are doing. Let's go ahead and attack with an Endurance before playing Brightglass Gearhulk, see if my opponent uses any mana. Alright, throwing away another body. Might be trying to get to Murktide or equivalent. Here we go. Gearhulk. Trigger. Oh god, it just happened. Sick. Let's get a removal spell and a ghost vacuum. You can spell pierce this if you want. Force of negation? Force of negation. That is all fine. So now I have 10 power in play plus an answer to a big Murktide Regent or Goyf that my opponent plays. This is fine. Delver is pretty close to a dead card here. Fetch. Surveil. Yeah, that's fine. We'll do that. We'll do that. What an absolute beating. That was round 4. We're now 3-1. I've been recording for an eternity. One more round and I'm free. I think I need a second snack before I finish this round, though. Okay, final round. I'm on the play. On the draw, maybe I'd consider keeping this, but I don't think double Static Prison without an energy generator is all that great. This is fine. I'm going to put Lush Portico back into the deck. I'm going to start this game on a basic. I really don't want to get wastelanded. I will be wastelandable eventually, but I don't need to start out that way. Alright, Ponder. Cool. I masquerade as mono white for a little while. Masquerade as mono white for a little while. Play some cats. Cats resolve. Attack for 1. Don't have enough energy to do anything cool yet. Opponent is show and telling. I have the Gearhulk that I can put in. This will be a pretty informative fetch land in all likelihood. Blue, red. So my opponent very specifically did that prior to pondering. There was a previous ponder though as well. I probably surveil land in this turn cycle. Opponent takes 4 from an attack. I'll pass the turn, technically holding up Boseiju. Yeah, this is some show and tell bullshit. So I have Boseiju, but how bad is it here? I guess I can see what this is. It's Emrakul. I think I will let my opponent go to combat, obliterate my shit, and then Boseiju the sneak attack so it doesn't happen again. This does require me to do an untapped land. Unfortunately, I'll do this. This only costs 1. My opponent gets to surveil. And unfortunately, this destroys everything that I have. I am at 4. My opponent's got not a full grip, but a respectable hand. I do not expect to win from here. Oh, I mean, that's still bad. Land drop. You going now? You're not going now. Land drop? Am I dead yet? Not dead yet. I guess my opponent's at 9 after a few hits and Ancient Tomb activations. That's fine. That might be a misplay, though. You might want to intentionally return Thundering Falls to reuse it if you're just kind of out of gas. Depends on like whether or not you have a Force of Will, I guess, that you want to specifically hardcast the following turn. There is... So if you do the Days line that I mentioned, you don't have another land there, you have to tap the Ancient Tomb to Force of Will. Unclear whether or not that is worth it. Not dead, though. That's good. It is probably better for me to play this, even though this is not mana efficient. Because next turn I can bestow attack for 2, potentially hit a land to copy this as well. Well, maybe not immediately. But now all the cantrips and the stock ups and stuff just get to find a creature to finish me. It's been real. I'm much more afraid of the red version of this deck than I am the mono blue. Alright, we're dead. We're better against Omniscience. So I have... Ooh. Hello, Endurance. Go away, Endurance. Okay, I finally got it to go away. We have a handful of things that I can consider. Similarly to before, I probably cut Swords to Plowshares. I will potentially trim Peema, Trailblazer, or Ajani. When my opponent isn't killing my stuff, Ajani is noticeably worse. It's still a fine follow-up on turn 2 to this stuff. I probably want this for both Sneak Attack and the One Ring there. That's probably what I bring in first. I'm going to respect the One Ring. I think these are going to come out. I think on the play, I'm okay trying to steal a game with Choke. Deafening Silence is worse versus a blue-red version with Sneak Attack. I think I'll play one, but I don't know that I want to board anything else out. When I'm on the draw, I'll get rid of chokes for Deafening Silence. This is a great hand versus a non-combo deck. I don't think this is good enough here. This is fine. I'm going to get rid of the Force of Vigor. Let's go land, Lotus Petal. Honestly, I'm just going to play the creature that attacks on turn 1. My opponent is usually not playing multiple spells on their turn 1. Oof sat on the stack for a little while, but did ultimately hit play. Surveilling and keeping the card. Don't love that. Don't love drawing second Static Prison here. Deafening Silence makes it into play. Everything I'm doing here feels a little mid, though. Like, I don't have the Ocelot Pride oomph here. I'm not doing any scaling. I don't have any card draw. And a 9-turn clock is not enough pressure. Beyond that, I also need lands and relevant things to cast. So I am not hopeful here. I will not take that. That's a weird one. I think I hold that, but it may end up becoming a land in the future. Ooh, that's no fetch with Scalding Tarn. My opponent likes their cards. I hate that for me. Okay, that was not the immediate sneak attack I was expecting. So because of Deafening Silence, we weather the storm a bit here. I don't think I'm going to try to Boseiju an Ancient Tomb to try to deny my opponent mana right now. I have relevant 3-drops that I can draw. That's not one of them. Playing this means that I drop Boseiju. Boseiju against Sneak Attack Activate is already not good enough. Yeah, okay, that's fine then. We are doing sad beats over here. I will take my 1 bonus damage where I can get it. That is a Show and Tell. Static Prison. Taking out an Atraxa. My opponent is still going to get to reload, but they can't respond to this and stop this because of Deafening Silence. Those are cards. Sneak Attack, Ponder, and Mountain. Okay. Oh man, land is not what I want. So send it. My opponent presumably has another land, right? So if I turn Ancient Tomb into another land, they can still go Sneak Attack plus Activate. I don't think Boseijuing the land makes sense. I think I hold up the Boseiju activation for if things get weird. So there's Sneak Attack. Okay, so there still could be a Sneak Attack creature as a blocker. I think second main phase, I Boseiju this. That way, any creature they put in would be sacrificed at end step. I'm a genius. Note that they did not have the next land. They had a fistful of cards, like 6 or 7 cards when I said that. Alright, so my opponent's land is Scalding Tarn. So I can cross off the other lands. Then Sneak Attack, Show and Tell, Force of Will, Grafdigger's Cage. They didn't keep Spirit Guide even though they could have. Why is my opponent playing Grafdigger's Cage? I guess they think I'm a Green Sun deck. We're not going to fetch to Thin because we have, Woozy What's It, Landfall Duder. Sorry, my brain is a potato. This has been a very long recording session. Alright, so a Force of Will is discarded. A Grafdigger's Cage is discarded. The Scalding Tarn is discarded. Got it. Pithing Needle is real cool. Send it. Opponent is at 2. Now I have to respect the possibility that there is another Force of Will in hand. I am out of energy. My opponent gets Atraxa back next turn. I think Static Prison is the card that I need to resolve. So Pithing Needle becomes the bait card, even though it is very good as well. Alright, so there's Force of Will pitching Daze. No! I'm a fool! This is maybe fine. I still just cast the Static Prison to get rid of Atraxa. Maybe my opponent concedes the game, not realizing they're about to get their Atraxa back. Oh, wow. Yes. Now I don't have lethal on board. Alright. Hate this. Blusterstorm's fine. The rest of this bullshit probably beats me. Yeah, I don't like this. Oh, trigger. So I Static Prison, the Atraxa out of the way, unless there's an unknown card that counters this. There's not. But my opponent just has a Fury and a red card to pitch to it, so that answers both of these. Or a red land, that does it too. I think I'm going to end up frustratingly close on this one. Oh, you're going to sneak attack in the Fury? Sure. Oh. Shit, okay. I eat Emrakul next turn. I don't think I'm dealing 8. Unfortunate. I think that's curtains for me. That does not do enough here. I'm just eating Emrakul in the air. Yeah, I think we were literal 1 point short there for a little while. We still end up positive in the league. GG's. Okay, that was exhausting, but this deck was pretty good. So, overall thoughts on the deck list. Maybe fewer copies of Static Prison. I definitely want a couple of those to tutor for, but the downsides are real, and legacy games are very long and very interactive in many cases where you don't just die to something like Oops All Spells. I like having more removal to push through my creatures. I don't think I have enough card draw to be thinking about things like Solitude. Maybe I play 2 more creatures in the main. Maybe I put 2 Static Prisons in the board. Maybe I put 2 Paths in the main, or 2 Paths in the board, or some other white removal spell that just gets stuff out of the way. This deck can grind very hard. It has the Guide of Souls, Ocelot Pride early game that's strong. Ajani wasn't great today, but it definitely put some pressure on my opponent and made decisions weird. Peema Trailblazer was copied a whole bunch of times and had the opponent that had the option to draw 12 at instant speed, draw 10 at instant speed, while making those creatures bigger to get more energy to let the other ones draw. That interaction is really cool. There's probably a little wiggle room in numbers here for what you do and how you do it. I liked removing Green Sun from the deck. It just made my openers more efficient. The efficiency matters. There were some times where I was thinking, man, if I had a Dryad Arbor, I could fetch it here, double trigger Guide of Souls, attack in. I'm not going to put in a Dryad Arbor just for that exact interaction, but that was something I was thinking about multiple times. Noble Hierarch was fine, although if we start seeing more and more Bowmaster as people gravitate towards black mid-range decks with Goyfs, maybe you don't want to do that, and maybe just bump the land count up a little bit. Sideboard was good. There might be other things that I need access to that didn't come up in this league, but generally speaking, I'm going to give this one up a big thumbs up. This was a lot of fun to play. The matches were grindy. The matches were very skill intensive. I sometimes lost games over incredibly tiny decisions, and single points of life mattered. I could see going into another color in this deck. Bowmaster as another thing to trigger Guide of Souls and Ocelot Pride / another thing to copy with Springheart Nantuko is cool. Getting my own Goyfs, like, maybe we could as a treat. The Exalted on Noble Hierarch definitely came up and was relevant many times throughout the league. But there's definitely something to this overall shell. And I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day. If you need any cards, know where to go. See ya!